Well, let's bring in now Srikanth Kondapalli. He's a professor of Chinese studies at Jawaharlal Nehru University. Welcome back to the program, Professor. Is this proposed EU law fundamentally about protecting European industry, or is it effectively a response to what it sees as China's state-backed industrial overcapacity?
I believe the later part of the argument is the concern in the European Union. Because BYD, for example, is said to be subsidized by the Chinese state, by over $310 billion. So as part of the WTO, World Trade Organization rules and regulations, it is hard to believe any industry being subsidized among the WTO participant countries. So this is one of the main reasons why EU had slapped 35.3% tariffs on the Chinese EVs. That is because they have an advantage of something like $5,500 per unit of the automobile exports to European Union countries. Since 2020 to 2023, there has been substantial exports of EVs to the European market. And so this is a major concern. Second, of course, is the IPR related intellectual property rights and lack of transparency and also restrictions on European products in the China market, including also the concerns over the IPR thefts and also in relation to the SOEs, state-owned enterprises, and the market economy access related matters. So there are a number of concerns that the European Union has. Additionally, there is an investment treaty that was signed in December 2020 that has also not been ratified by the European Union. And this also poses concern for China in the EU market.
So, Professor, do you see this as the beginning of a more direct economic confrontation between China and the European Union, or is there still room for negotiation and compromise here?
I think there is still room for a compromise and negotiations between the two, partly because of the recent conflicts over Ukraine and Iran. The European Union and the NATO partners have been relatively pushed aside by the United States. And so European Union thinks that Russia, US, China have become problematic for them. And hence they would possibly will also negotiate because of the loss of the market, both in the United States because of the kind of tariffs and on Denmark and the Greenland-related issue. There are concerns within the EU on the sustainability of the NATO partnership. So they would like to negotiate with China and arrive at a compromise solution. And this is also partly because European countries are divided. We just saw the Spanish Prime Minister visiting China in the light of the Iranian conflict. So we see that there are different views within the EU on how to address China factor, including the market access related matters.
Okay, Professor Srikanth Kondapalli, really appreciate your analysis. Thank you.